Alright then, so we've kind of got this sign up flow nailed, and what happens when we use this create user with email and password method and we sign a user up is that we log that user in automatically as well. So now Firebase is seeing us as a logged in user in this application. So I'll demonstrate that. Let me go to the map component over here. This is where we redirect to when we've signed up, right? So what I would like to do in this component is log out to the console the current user. So inside the mounted component right there, what we'll do is we'll say console.log, and we're going to log out firebase.auth. And remember, to do that, first of all, we need to import Firebase up here. So we'll import Firebase from the Firebase library. Okay. And then down here, we can use this firebase.auth, and we have a property on this auth method called current uppercase U user. So this will get us the current logged in user of the application. So if I was to now save this, and I'm going to go back to the sign up component over here, I'm going to inspect the element just so we get the console over here. And then what I'd like to do is sign up with a new user, and I'll just say me at thenetninja.co.uk, test 1234, and the alias is me. Okay, so sign up. Then what I'd like to do is redirect to the home page, and we can see right here, this is the object that represents the current user. So if we go down here, we can see we have all these different properties. The email, me at thenetninja, email verified false. If we go down, there's the phone number, currently null, etc. So this is the current user, and we're obviously logged into the application. We can see that. Now this is fine, but what happens if I refresh the page? I should still be logged in, right? But if I refresh the page, then what happens is I get null logged to the console when I'm trying to get that current user. So what's happening here? Well, this is because when we refresh, everything inside our application has to reinitialize, including Firebase auth. Now, by the time that this component has mounted the DOM, Firebase auth is still not initialized. So when this is mounted and we're logging this to the console, we're getting null for the current user because Firebase auth is yet to initialize. And I can demonstrate that. If we place this inside a set timeout instead, we'll do set timeout. And then in here, we'll pass in a function. And in this function, all we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to log to the console the current user. So firebase.auth.current user, like so. And we're going to fire this after, I don't know, 2 seconds. So 2000 milliseconds. Save that. And by this time, Firebase auth should have initialized. Therefore, we should have the current user. So if we refresh now, I'm going to clear this console, refresh, and hopefully after 2 seconds, we'll see the actual user. We see null to begin with, then we see the user. So we see it now because we've given Firebase auth an extra 2 seconds to initialize. It's initialized by now, then we get the user. But I don't really like this delay. It's not good practice to have a delay between your application loading and your user seeing something, and then an extra couple of seconds before the authentication kicks in and recognizes that you're actually logged in. So there is a way we can combat this. We can wrap our Vue instance in a Firebase method. So what I'm going to do is head over to the main.js file over here. This is where our Vue application first kicks in. Now we're going to use Firebase in this file right here. So let's import it first of all at the top. Import Firebase from the Firebase library. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is use a method called onAuthStateChanged. Now that method will fire automatically as soon as Firebase knows whether we're logged in or logged out after Firebase auth has initialized. So at this point we're safe to render our Vue app, and we want to delay rendering our Vue app until this point, right? Until we know that Firebase auth is ready. So let's just write this code first of all. So down here, I'm going to do a little comment which says, wait for Firebase auth to init before creating the app. All right. because this is where we actually create the application and insert the application into the DOM. We want to hold off doing that until the Firebase authentication is ready. So first of all, what we'll do is create this function. It's firebase.auth. Then on that, .onAuth state changed. Right? So this detects when there's a state change in the authentication. So like I said, by this point, if it detects whether we're logged in or logged out, it's safe then to render the component because it knows. So this takes a callback function which fires when it knows whether we're logged in or not. And then at this point, we want to render the app. So I want to copy all of this and I want to paste it inside here. Okay, so now we have that running inside here. Now the thing is, we only ever want to initialize the app once, and that is when they first come to the website or when they refresh a page. We don't want to reinitialize the app every time a user logs out or logs in, because this function is going to fire every time a user logs in or logs out whenever there's an auth state change, right? So we need a way to prevent that. We only want this to run once inside there. Now the way we do that is by first of all creating a local variable up here, and we'll call this app. So let app equal null to begin with, right? So when the file first starts, it's null. Then what we'll do is we'll check if the app exists down here. So a comment first of all, init app if not already created. We only want to do this if the app is not already created. So we say if, and then not app, right? Then we want to create the application. Now, the first time this runs, we're going to run down here, get the auth state change, then this will be null, right? So what we're going to say, if not null, which is true, then we're going to create the app, right? And then the app is not null, because what we're going to do is say app is then equal to new view. So we're updating the app. Then the second time it runs, if the auth state changes again, if we log out or log in again, we come down here. This time, app is going to be true. The reverse is going to be false using this not operator. Therefore, this is not going to rerun and it's not going to re-render this application. It's only going to do it once at the start. But in essence, what we're doing here now is we're wrapping the view app so that it doesn't render until the view auth kicks in and it's ready to understand whether we're logged in or logged out, right? So now if we save that, head back to our map thing over here. I'm going to get rid of this second one because we shouldn't need it anymore now. And I'm going to save and refresh over here. Now, hopefully, we won't get null anymore. Now, it waits a second or two, then it renders the app, and we have this user right here. We don't get null anymore. So that's how we can wrap our application inside this Firebase function to wait until the auth state is actually ready.